In this episode of my Chevy Astro Adventure Van Build Series, I'll be building the walls and ceiling. First, I'll start with the insulation of the walls and ceiling. I'll use the same Frost King duct insulation that I used under the floors as a radiant barrier, and I'll add Polyiso board on top of this for even further insulation. Check out the video description for links to these products. I'm installing the radiant barrier with the foil facing out to repel the sun's heat and the cotton insulation facing inside. I'm using double-sided carpet tape to secure the radiant barrier to the walls of the van. This stuff works pretty well. It sticks to both the foil and the van walls. And parts of the van walls are recessed in like you see here, and these aren't exactly square. So I have to do some trimming to remove these long triangular pieces. I'll be adding Polyiso board over these recessed areas to build the depth up to match the spots of the wall that stick out the most. And here's the van with most of the radiant barrier installation done. Now it's time to start cutting the Polyiso board. After some quick Google searching for how to cut Polyiso, it appears that the side of a putty knife is one of the better tools for the job. First score the line, then cut deeper. Now I'll fit the Polyiso board over my radiant barrier. When it's all taped down, the Polyiso board and the beams should sit flush with each other. And I'm using this Reflectix tape to attach the Polyiso to the van. So I'm also going to go around the edges of the Polyiso board with some Reflectix tape. And the Polyiso board is basically just styrofoam in between the outer foil layers. And I don't want tiny pieces of styrofoam crumbling away, making a mess inside my walls. And because this piece is flat and this is curved, kind of left with this gap here, you know, if you push it in, it fits tight up against the wall. So what I'm going to do is just make a slit all the way across the back so it can bend and fit and contour to this shape. Insulation is complete on this wall, where my future power center and shelving will go. Next, I'll start hanging the cedar planks for the walls. But in order to do that, I had to make these wood pieces for the cedar planks to screw into. The Polyiso and the wood are flush with each other here. To get this piece of wood to bend and match the contour of the wall, I made a series of shallow cuts in the wood. This is called kerf cutting. This allows the wood to bend and flex, and has worked pretty well for me here. What I'm doing here is marking the location of my screws, so I don't drill into them when installing the cedar planks. It's also going to be helpful for future reference if I ever drill into the wood here, just so I know where not to drill. Finally, it's time to start hanging the cedar planks. As you can see, I've attached 3 vertical strips of wood here to act as an even mounting surface for these planks. Here's a look at the top 2 planks installed. So what I'm doing here is drilling pilot holes, and I'm using drywall screws to fasten the cedar planks onto the wall. Now, drilling pilot holes here it's a must. Otherwise, you'll almost certainly crack the cedar panels with the drywall screws. Also, just tightening the screws too much will also crack the cedar panels. They're actually fairly delicate. Ultimately, I'll have wood shelving here covering this, and I won't be bringing the cedar planks down this far, but I need the brace here to attach a thicker wood beam that I'll mount across the wall, which will act as the main support for my bed, which I'll be building in the next episode. And here's a 12-volt outlet I've just installed. These are the Blue Sea Systems marine grade outlets. And this is a good chunk of the wall done now. I'm forced to do a little electrical wiring as I go with the wall, but most of the electrical wiring and power center will be covered in more detail in episode 7. In this area of the van, I need to add several blocks of wood in certain places in order to secure my bed and shelves that I'll be building later. And some of this may look pretty wonky, but it will serve its purpose. And here's the 1x4 board that my future bed will bolt to. So this board here for the bed completes the wall, since nothing below this will be visible. So I'm trying to finish up with the ceiling here, and I've saved this section for last because I don't know how wide to make my insulation. What I need to do is figure out a way to transition the headliner to the wood paneling that's going to go up here. So you need some sort of brace, some sort of board here for the panels to screw into. And as you can see, this got quite a bit of a curve to it. So what I've decided to do is cut sections of this board, and these all fit pretty nice and flat, and just put them in a series along the roof here. And I'm going to attach them with this Loctite PL Max Premium. And these boards are going to want to fall down, so I've got these adjustable poles here for drywall sanding. By some miracle, I somehow happen to have the right number of adjustable drywall sanding sticks just laying around the house already. These are working really well to keep pressure on the boards while they dry. With the boards along the headliner dry, it's time to start hanging cedar planks on the ceiling. I'm using drywall screws and going through the beams on the ceiling. Having someone to help hold the planks when installing them on the ceiling is very helpful. In 2 of my ceiling planks, I'll need to cut holes for the overhead lights that I'll be installing. For overhead lights, I'm using 4 of these 3-watt LED puck lights. And now to hang the plank with the lights. It helps having a second set of hands here, especially when it's time to crimp the electrical connectors for the lights. And with 1 set of lights in, we should probably test them before installing the entire ceiling. And that's the ceiling and the lights done. With the cedar planks in, the van is really starting to come together. It smells amazing. But here's a look at the headliner where it meets the ceiling. I was a bit worried how this was going to look, but honestly, I'm fine with this just the way it is. And to finish off the ceiling, I add the trim piece for the max fan. Insulation, ceiling, and walls complete. Stay tuned for the next episode, Building the Bed.